Happy Thursday, Stampers and Paper Crafters. This is Facebook Live number 471. It is Thursday, March 12th, 2026. My name is Joy Borwedge, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I live in Burnsville, Minnesota, and I have been a demonstrator since August of 1999. I have a super cute fun fold for you, and it's actually pretty easy and simple enough for you to duplicate. So I'm ready to show you, and hopefully you guys are tuning in to have some fun, and I am looking very forward to sharing this card with you tonight. So I'm going to put you down at the table in just a second. If you get motion sickness or anything like that, just look away and I'll let you know when I'm done messing around with the camera. So hold on. So as I said, today's Thursday. So hopefully you are having, hi Tina, a nice half end of the week. And right now, if you follow demonstrators, you would know, I should say other demonstrators, that right now the Stampin' Up! What we call the on stage is going on right now. And I'm having FOMO. How you doing, Tina? And I really would love to have gone to Long Beach, California. I have never been. And I'm going to tighten this just a tad bit. I was in California when I was a teeny tiny kid, because my sister was born in Santa Maria, I think, or Santa Ana or something like that. And there we go. I think we're good. Marilyn, hi. I see you. So again, my name is Joy Borwedge. I have an Instagram page. It's Stampin' for Joy. My YouTube page is Joy A. Borwedge. Ooh, thank you for the thumbs up on that. My online store is stampinforjoy.stampinup.net. PenguinZ33@outlook.com is my email address, that if you don't have a demonstrator that you're working with, you could certainly ask me for a catalog or the new catalogs that are coming out in May. And just a little quick note about that. If you are a current customer of mine, or if you have placed an order with me since January of 2025, okay, so that's last year, beginning of last year, up until the end of this month, if you have placed an order with me within that time frame, you will get a catalog sent to your address. Only if you have opted in to receive notifications from me. So that means that if you don't opt in, I can't send you anything as a demonstrator. And so that means that your catalog will not come to you. So you have to opt in. And there you go. And if you haven't placed an order, go ahead. It is right there, stampinforjoy.stampinup.net. But as I was saying, demonstrators are in California right now, and they're seeing the new catalog, and they're also seeing the new products that will be launching in May, and I'm sadly missing out. All right, so this catalog here is the current catalog that we are dealing with. Now, we also have a spring mini catalog. And what's going to happen with the May catalog is it's going to last May, June, July, and then August, okay? So what they're doing is they're taking these two catalogs and merging them to become one catalog, but 3 different times a year. So you'll have it in a trimester. So it starts with January, and then February, March, and April is going to be a catalog, and then May, June, July, and August will be a new catalog, and then September, October, November, and December, that's going to be the final catalog. And each catalog is going to surround itself with the holidays that come with it. So again, the spring mini catalog kind of takes you from January, which a lot of people are kind of bah humbug after we're done with winter after Christmas, and we want spring to happen. And so the spring items come in the spring mini catalog, and then we have the core products in the annual catalog. Well, they're kind of doing away with that. So now we also have the online exclusives, and the March exclusives were quite bigger than the release was a lot bigger than January's. And so it's going to be the one catalog plus the online exclusives. So that's going to be an easier way for you to find a new product, and I'm excited about that. So today happens to be the 12th. So if you had signed up for Paper Pumpkin by March 10th, you'll be receiving this paper pumpkin called Fluttering Garden, and there is one free additional stamp set in there because it's Paper Pumpkin's birthday. So they celebrate that by always having a new stamp set released with that. So I have a sheet here of the Notes of Spring. This is the product of the month. So when you have an order of $75 in my online store, you will get a prompt to say, hey, would you like to purchase this particular stamp set for only $5? And so that prompt happens when you have the $75 order. So this is while supplies last, and I have seen several cute things with this. So it is a two-step stamp. So you can stamp and color in the deer if you wanted to, or you can stamp that, and therefore it's called two-step stamping. So we have a little bunny rabbit, and I believe this is a goose. Not sure. It could be a duck. So it all depends on how you color it. And it could be, we're in Minnesota, so it's duck, duck, gray duck. So, and other people say duck, duck, goose. And I have never, ever heard of that until I was out of, high school. I'm like, I've never heard duck, duck, goose. You guys are crazy. And I want to show you one of the kits that just came out. Now, this is called the Standing Clipboard Trio Kit, and it just comes with these 3 clipboards, and they're different sizes. And so what you're supposed to do with them is use them as home decor pieces. And we have 2 separate kits that coordinate with this. So we have the Radiant Reminders Kit, and these are no stamping. So basically these are kits that you get, and the greetings are your choice to choose as to how you put this together. Now you can follow the instructions as is, or you can, do it however you want. So again, it is the Radiant Reminders Kits, and it comes with, let's see, patterns featuring the Monstera leaves, Luna moths, and neutral patterns in beige, black, brown, green, and gold. Now, if you wanted to, you can certainly incorporate pictures. You can certainly put these together and give this to somebody as a gift, or you can give them, if they're crafty, or if they're learning how to be crafty. These are things that you can put together with grandkids, with your kids, with maybe a girls' night out and a bottle of wine. That'd be kind of fun. And then here's the Every Little Thing kit. And so these 3 backgrounds you put together, and then again you design you decorate the standing clipboards. And so I think that is just like so cool that Stampin' Up! Came out with, I really like this one, so I just might have to do that. So these are new kits that were just released. Okay, so let's get on with what we're going to be playing with today. Now, I have the Suite, and it is something that is from the Spring Mini Catalog, and I gotta find that because I just put that over here. And it is called the Lovely and a Beautiful Suite Collection, and it comes with 2 stamp sets and 2 die sets. And these dies are so fun, and I love these flowers. And the designer series paper, holy crap, these artists that put those together, top-notch job. And I'm excited to show you what this looks like a little bit closer. I need to get that. Now I just dropped it on the floor. Luckily, my apartment is small. I should say my bedroom is small. I should say this is my craft room. It includes a bed. So yeah, this is, it's really my bedroom. Okay, so the dies actually, okay, you stamp the images and then you get to cut them out. And then we also have standalone dies, which means they don't cut anything out of a stamped image, but they actually put together images. And then there are greetings that coordinate with that. I'm not going to be using the greetings today. And then the designer series paper, here is a little snippet of a 2-inch selection of each. Now there's 6 pieces, okay, and you get 2 of each sheet. So you get 2 of these and then 2 each of these. And the coordinating colors are Calypso Coral, Darling Duckling, Fresh Freesia, Old Olive, Peach Pie, Petal Pink, and Gold. So that is what it plays with. Now here are the Simply Beautiful bundle. And when you purchase a bundle together, you save 10%. And then we're also using the Beautifully Celebrated. Now we're going to pull stamped images from both of these and dies from both of these. So I am excited to show you what they look like, and you get a chance to win this card. And oh, one thing I forgot to show you, a part of the suite, is this vellum. Now I've not used any of this vellum yet because this is an ephemera pack that belongs in the suite, and I think I'm scared, but what I need to do is just sit down and create cards with them, and then I'll want another pack. So that's usually how it goes. And then we're not using the vellum ephemera pack, but we are using the Right Words stamp set, and this is from the annual catalog, and it is red rubber. So this one will be retiring. What happens with the red rubber is once they sell out of the red rubber, it's going to go completely to the discontinued list. And I don't know if they're going to take this stamp set and remake it into the photopolymer. I don't know. So we have a chance that happens, or we just have a new chance that it is just going to retire. So we're also playing with that. It's on page 89 in the annual catalog. And okay, now there might be a lot of pieces, so don't let this freak you out. But like I said, you do get a chance to win this card, and all you have to do is leave a thumbs up or a heart. That gets your name entered into the drawing. Then if you leave a comment, all you have to do is say hi. That gets your name also entered into the drawing. And if you share this on your timeline, that gets, oh, I see that heart, thank you. If you share this on your timeline, you get 2 entries. So let's look at this. Here's a piece of basic white cardstock. It's going to be for my greeting. I have several different pieces of cardstock and they're basic white and they're kind of close to each other. So I want to make sure that I'm not stamping. Hi, Kimberly, welcome. So this here is 2.5 by 1 3/4. So I kind of labeled a couple of them so I wouldn't use them for the wrong thing. Here's another piece of basic white. It's 2.5 by 2. And another piece of basic white. Now these are actually scraps, but they're big enough so that I'm giving you dimensions. And we're going to stamp 2 images on here and we're going to color them. So it's 3.5 by 2.5. And we're going to use the Stampin' Blends. Then here is a piece of gold foil, and it is 2.5 by 1.5. Here's a piece of that Designer Series paper. Here's the back side. And we're going to go with that Calypso Coral. I love it. And it is 1 3/4 by 5. We have a piece of basic white. And it is going to be our insert and part of our mechanism for our fun fold. And it is 6 by 5 1/4, and we're going to score it at 2 inches. And then here is a piece of that Designer Series paper. It is 4 by 5.5, and there's the back side. I know we're going to cover up all that beautiful gold yumminess in there. But I love the peach pie. And then this is our card base. And it is a half sheet of cardstock, okay? And so it is 8.5 by 5.5. And then I scored it at 4 1/4. So it's an actual half sheet of cardstock. All right, so I'm going to leave this sit here for just a few seconds, and I am going to take a drink. I just want to give you another heads up. Pull the ink pads so you can see them. Because I'm using peach pie, this is the perfect time to say that these colors are going to be put on the last chance list beginning of April. And what that means is peach pie, shy shamrock, summer splash, pretty in pink, and petunia pop. These are 5 ink colors that are introduced every 2 years. Well, I should say every year 5 ink colors get added, and every year 5 ink colors get retired. Now, pretty in pink, that was a color that came back from years ago. So then we are also seeing Cantaloupe Crisp from years ago come back in the May ink colors that are being introduced, and they last for 2 years. So this shelf life of 2 years is almost over, and these colors, once they hit that last chance list, they're going to be gone, okay? Because people forget and run out and buy anything. So it could be ribbon, it could be blends, it could be re-inkers and cardstock, Designer Series paper. So I'm just giving you a heads up now. Purchase these now before they retire quickly and become unavailable. So that is my advertisement for that, because it's like, does anybody have this? My friend is looking for, a shy shamrock cardstock and they forgot. So I just want to give everybody, a knock knock. This is your warning. Do it now. Okay. So now that I've allowed this enough time you can come back, pause it, get your cardstock cut up, get your designer series paper cut up. You can use totally different cardstock. You can use different designer series paper. You don't have to do anything with Calypso Coral. You can go with the blues and the greens. You could go with the purples and the pinks. Whatever flavor, color you want to go. Flavor? I'm sorry, you're not eating cardstock. All right, so yeah, I talk like that. Okay, and oh, I forgot to show these pearlized faceted circles are part of the Sweet Collection, and we're going to be having some fun with those tonight. Woohoo! All right, so let's take all this off. And that is why I, take a pause, so then that way, if you're like, you know what, I really like the card that Joy showed the other day, and I do, so we're recording this Facebook Live on my Joy Borwedge page, okay? And then I take a picture of my Instagram or today's card, okay? And I'll put hashtag 471, and then that way, for 30 days, you can go to my Joy Borwedge page or my Stampin' for Joy page and watch the video, because Facebook only allows your videos to last 30 days and then they delete them. So therefore, I also download that video onto my Joy Borwedge YouTube page, hashtag 471. So you can come back and say, you know what, I really like that card, that fun fold. I need to make a birthday card. I'm going to watch that video. And then you can chop everything up, and then you can remake it, reverse it, rewind, not reverse. But anyways, okay, so there we go. Let's do some moving around of things. We're going to stamp these 3 things, and we're going to put these over to the side, because we're going to take out the Simply Score tool. I love my Simply Score, and the reason why is because the track in here, I'm allowed to, have a bigger burnish, a deeper, I could push down really hard and have a good, nice indent. So we scored it at 2, okay? And the paper trimmer does the same thing, but it also cuts. And this thing, it doesn't cut. So I will never, ever say, oh man, I cut that and I was supposed to score it. So I don't have that problem. And plus that Simply Score tool, it's great for boxes. It's great for anything, that's bigger than an 8.5 by 11. Okay, so we're actually going to take this piece, and that's going to be the inside of our card. And so we might as well take this designer series paper and attach it to the card part. All right, so we're going to flip that over. This is our Simply Score mat, our silicone mat. And I love mine because I tend to overshoot my adhesive. And so it helps me keep my Glass Mat Studio free of excess adhesive. Except for this just really stuck like really, really well. I'm like, I didn't even push down. Come on. Move it, move it, move it. All right. I think that is straight, and I think we have a good border. Okay, so then now that we attach that, we better stamp well. Because what I should have done is stamped here, just in case I made a boo-boo. Then I could, reposition this and then put that on the back side. But you know what? I have more paper. Okay, so let's stamp our images on here. And we're going to grab the Stampin' Pearson mat. And this has a foam this is made of foam, and so it helps get a good inked image. And we're going to do a birthday card. And when I do my Facebook Lives, I like to make the cards usable, okay? Birthday, I also like to make them so that you can actually send it. Some things get, while we got the black open, let's do the greeting. And just tap, tap, tap. Now, like I said, this is red rubber. Stampin' Up! Is pulling away from red rubber because that's how they started out. And, I mean, I remember having to, let's see, cut out the red rubber and add them to the blocks. I remember having to do that. And I mean, Stampin' Up! Has really come a long way. And now that we have the photo, I'm just going to take off my sweatshirt. We have photopolymer stamps, and the quality that Stampin' Up! Is used to doing, they've been having a hard time sourcing some of the parts that they need. Now, I know there's other companies out there that use red rubber, and I don't know what they use in their, what do you say, their components. So I don't know what the difference is, but I know that Stampin' Up! Is really, really quality driven. And if they have a hard time finding something, they're going to fix that. They're going to make it so that they can do it on their own. So like right now, we still are able to do some red rubber things, okay? But that's why photopolymer has been so good, is because Stampin' Up! Makes it in-house. It doesn't come from out of the country. Now I'm going to clean this off with my chamois. Now the chamois, if you notice, fits this whole thing, but I like to cut mine down. I'm going to be using that in a different color, so I want to make sure that I'm able to not transfer the color of the ink, excuse me. And I might as well clean off the red rubber, seeing as how I'm here with this open. But anyways, Stampin' Up! Started with the online exclusives in November, just with the photopolymer, and not had any issues. I actually liked seeing through my stamps so that I can position them where I want. So I like that. Okay, so this is a leaf that we need, and we're going to stamp that in Memento because we're going to use some blends. We're going to do some coloring again today, and we just tap, tap, tap. And Stampin' Up! Is also going to be changing their ink pads to felt, and the quality of the foam pads have had some issues with the, what do you call it, the chemical reaction. So Stampin' Up! Is going to try to see if they can fix that by going back. They used to have linen, and now they're going to go to felt. And so they're going to try to see if the colors are not going to have reactions to the foam. And I don't know how that works, but I think that that's actually a great way to go, because number one, I like the foam pads, but I don't like it when my colors don't last very long, because they are a consumable, they only have a certain amount of time frame in which they, are, told to, stick around. All right, we're going to stamp. Oops, I got a little too peach happy with that. We're just going to go into the corner right here in peach pie. Okay, so we're going to clean that off. I think we're done with the actual stamping. And we're going to start with coloring and squeak, 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 squeak. That means it's nice and clean. Okay, so I am going to grab my blends, my Stampin' blends, and we're going to cut that up, and we're going to die cut. We're going to get the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine out, and so we're going to color this. Now, I swatched, and I've showed this several times. Back when blends first came out, I watched Patty Bennett, and she showed how to, she shows that she does this. And I thought that that was a really good idea. I was not a good colorer. And I have never, my sister, she's the artist. Me, And so these help me look like an artist. And so if you look, you could see that for me, I think, now I do the light side always on the left, LL, okay? And then the dark is always on the right. And then I do the nib tips at the top, and then the brush ends at the bottom. So BB and LL. So that kind of eliminates everything else. Okay, so I like to look and see which one's my darkest one. For me, right here, the brush end of the Old Olive is the darkest one, but the nib tip on the Calypso Coral Dark is the darkest. And then, to me, the nib tip and the brush tip of the light and the dark, they're about the same. So I like to see, because you might use one end more than the other, or you might use a color a lot more or a lot less than others. And so I like to see where they're at in their colorness, I guess, colorfulness. And so that helps me. So I'm going to sit. Ooh, Dawn. Hi, Dawn. Welcome. So I'm going to sit my booty down, and I'm going to color. And then once I get done coloring, I'm going to stand back up. So if you have any questions, there are people here that might be able to know things. All right, so hold on for just a second. Okay, I'm going to take another little drink. Okay. I think I'm going to start with my flower first. I do not remember how I colored my first flower, so let's just kind of start. I'm actually going to use the dark peach pie nib, and I am going to just kind of go on the edges, and I'm going to go in the center, and then I'm just going to kind of go where others would go, okay? And then, so that's the dark nib. And then we're going to go with the, I think the dark Calypso Coral nib. And so we're just going to kind of go all the way around. Now, these are alcohol markers, so they dry really fast, and they allow you to blend colors together. And okay, so there is that. And so I'm going to take the brush of my dark, and I'm going to lay it down softly or on its side, and I'm going to try to pull in the color, and I'm just going to swirl it around and blend those two colors together, and try not to have any of those harsh lines. And you can add as much color as you want. Now that was the brush. And again, I'm going to take the, let's see. I'm going to do the nib tip because my brush is not something you want to see. Because it's very well loved. I do go through these particular colors. I love the Calypso Coral. And I'm just going to kind of go in there again, in the center, and kind of okay. And one more time. And then this is the light peach pie. Oh, that turned out very pretty. Okay. Now, the green one, or the greens, I am going to take the dark brush. No, I'm going to do the dark nib. And I am going to follow the veins. Just like that. And then we're going to take the brush and we're just going to swirl those colors together. I like to use my nib tips a lot because they don't what's the word? The brush tips can get used very quickly, whereas the nib tips, they kind of keep their shape and allow you to color evenly. And so I don't like the, I'm going to go back in there and just get a little bit more. Okay. And I think I like that. I'll blend it a little bit up the center. There we go. Ah, there we go. Okay, so we are done coloring. We're not going to worry about the stem because we're going to cut that off. And so we're going to die cut this. And we're going to die cut that. I love it that we don't have to sit there and fussy cut everything because there's dies for this. So we're going to die cut that and that. And then we're going to cut out a piece of basic white for this one. Okay, let's put that away. And how you doing, Dawn? Okay, I'm going to put that in the corner. We're going to grab the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And, oh, you know what? First of all, I should do one thing. Seeing as how this looks good, we're going to put that on the inside of the card. And then we're going to put this on the front of the card. But I am only going to put adhesive probably right there. And then we're going to do quite a bit, but we're going to skip a spot over here. And if we need to put more adhesive down later, we will, because we're going to need to die cut this piece. And then we're going to stick this on the inside of our card. And there we go. And that is going to go right here. What are you doing, Mike? Don't be saying anything. All right, so we're just going to put that on like that. Okay, so now let's get the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Okay. We're going to put this piece right here, kind of where that adhesive was not, hopefully. And we can always fix it if we need to. And I'm going to put just a tad bit of tape because I want to make sure that this kind of stays straight. I think it's straight. We're just going to put that right there. And this can cut through 2 sheets of cardstock. We're just going to go forward and we're going to go back just to make sure. And there we go. And then, come on, we need this piece right here. And this was saved. Now we can put that in our designer series paper. You could put that in the back because that could be used for another card on another day. And then we could just lift this up slowly so we don't rip the paper. I just used a little bit too much. It was a bigger piece than I should have used. I should just, a tiny piece just to tack it. But just rip it slowly, gently, so that you're not taking up the cardstock. The designer series paper, I should say. Come on, let's go. Yay. Very nice. And no adhesive was left. Okay, so then we could still use that again. We could put that back on the magnet sheet. Okay, so this is what it looks like right now. And then let's go in and die cut our other things. Okay, so we're going to put that there. And are you seeing everything? Are you able to see everything? I just want to make sure that you're not missing out on anything. And let's see. There we go. We're going to take this piece and we're going to cut it, rip it in half. We don't want it to move when we put the other plate down. All right, so that's going to go right there. Nice to hear. Have you been seeing any of the sneak peeks from convention? My friends and I, that we would all go to convention together and we would get a room. We stalk. We stalk people. And we have a Facebook page that we stalk different people. And so we see different things. And so we share. So I think that's funny. I sent a message early this morning while I was at break, and I said, "Good morning, fellow stalkers." Hopefully they have it in, a cheaper place, because I know that California is not necessarily a cheap place to travel to, but I would have loved to have gone just because I'd never been there before. All right, we're going to take that out in just a few minutes and throw that away. And then we have those two die pieces. Oh, well, we can throw that away. That's just gonna, there we go. There's our die for our leaf. And look at how nicely that cut it out. Don't worry about the stem. It's going to get hidden, so I didn't care about that. And then that turned out very nice. And so did this flower that we colored. In fact, I like this one a lot. Okay, and we'll just throw that into the trash and keep the die. Don't throw your dies in the trash. Just a public service announcement. You don't want to go through tons and tons of cardstock looking for a tiny die. I actually have found, I had frisé carpet in my basement, and so it's a little, like a shag, but not a shag. And when dies drop into it, it's like no man's land. And so I would take my magnets from the Stamparatus, because those things are strong, and I would just go like this on the floor, and then I would do that to my paper in my trash bin, my recycling bin, I should say. All my cardstock scraps, they go in a paper bag, and then I recycle those. Okay, so see how that looks? There's a hole. Well, this is going to go right back into that space, okay? And what we're going to do is just add adhesive just right here, okay? So we're just going to create, we're using the Designer Series paper to hold but we're also using the outline as its so you don't go past it. So now it opens like that, and you can decorate this however you want. Now I am, darn it, I did this before, when I was designing this card. I did the same exact thing. I was like, hey, let's do this. And I kind of forgot that I was going to do this. All right, so this is Calypso Coral, and we're going to use Calypso Coral ink. And we cleaned this. We're just doing tone on tone. And we're doing it just on the outside parts of the die, because it's going to get covered in the center, but it's giving it a little bit of texture. Now that adhesive is still going to work, and now we could pretend that I didn't do that, and now there we go. Thank you for, I didn't push that down really hard, so luckily it came up pretty quick. I'm just gonna clean that off, because certain colors of ink discolor our photopolymer stamps, so I like to get that off as quickly as possible. All right, so we are going to take this piece, and we're going to take this and just add that. Yeah, when I started stamping, it was in 1997. And then Stampin' Up! Went exclusive. They had stamps that were mostly single pieces, and then they had colors. So their ink pads didn't have, they were somebody else's ink pads. And then they had markers, which were somebody else's markers. And then the cardstock. So if you ran out of red cardstock, you went to, say, Michael's and got some red cardstock, because not everything was as color-coded as they are now, okay? Well, once Stampin' Up! Went exclusive, which was, I think, in 1998, they announced that we were going to have color families. And so Rich Regals and Brights, what did they call Brights? And then they had Soft Subtles. And, I think they had Basic Brights? No, Bright. And then they had Rich Regals, Soft Subtles. I can't remember the other ones. And so anyways, in 1999, in August, I joined because they had announced, because I think their convention was in July. And so my friend Terry went to convention in July and then announced that the next year's convention was going to be in Minneapolis. And that was the reason why I joined. So I could go to convention in Minneapolis, and that's the reason why I joined. And so from then on, I went to every convention. So I went to Utah, I went to Vegas, and these are places I've never been before. And I've been to Kansas City and Florida. And so I kind of felt, and we traveled, my friends, they're from Iowa, and one of the girls that used to be a demonstrator, she is not anymore. She is a good friend of a friend in Iowa, and Jennifer, she lives in way down south in Worthington. And so one year, I can't remember if this was during COVID or if this was, they were having like, I can't remember what they were doing. And so we kind of converged on Iowa. So two sets of friends lived in West Iowa. So they drove more towards northeast Iowa. And then I drove from, Burnsville, Minnesota. Well, actually, it was Eagan, Minnesota. So, and then my other friend, she lived in Boyden. So what the idea was is that I would drive down to Worthington and I would pick Jennifer up. I would leave my car there, and then Jennifer would drive down to a friend in Boyden, and then we would pick her up, and then we would converge on this small city in, I can't remember what the name was. And so we basically hung out on the bed in one of their rooms, looking at, it was like I don't think it was an online convention or something. And so it was fun to see the girls, but I think we went to one other convention after that, and I haven't been, just because of price and money and all the things. All right, so there is our flower. I'm just gonna kind of, yeah, so if they can do Minnesota again, they would have, they better do a better job, because that kind of sucked. All right, so let's do the Wink of Stella on the veins. But I miss seeing my friends. But I got new ones. All right, so then what we're going to do is we're going to clean that off, and we're going to grab the peach pie, and we're going to take that bottom and we're going to push it into the top, and then we're going to just grab some color with our Wink of Stella brush. And I'm just going to swipe off, so that's like the main color. And we're going to just color a tiny bit of our flower. And let's do the center. We'll do a good coloring on that one. All right, one more. We're gonna just make that a little bit darker, just to give it a little bit of color. All right, so then we're gonna just kind of dab the centers of our little guys over here that we used. So there's a little bit of shimmer. We'll just clean that off until it runs clean. Okay. And then we're going to close that ink pad up. And we'll get rid of that. And we're going to grab the paper trimmer, the little guy. And now I did not do a very good straight job on that, so hopefully this turns out straight. I am not the straightest person when it comes to cutting line. Oh, that was nope. All right, so we might have to just do. So grab a Post-it note if you have one and use that to help you. The sticky part is going to go right there, and it's going to allow me to change. Better. Ha! That turned out. Woohoo! Okay. And then we're going to trim. Let's see. Let's use that as our straightener. And then we'll flip this upside down. And I guess that's not going to work because then you don't know where you're going to chop it off at. So then we'll take the sticky part and put that over here. And then move that. I don't know how many of the bigger demos that, I follow. I don't know how many of them are staying. Just because of, like they have family things going on. So hopefully, gosh, that is really not straight. Okay, I guess that's just as good as it's going to get. Oh, man. I am... Nope, nope, nope. There. Maybe. Okay. I think that's... well, whatever, right? Whatever. It's a handmade card. It is made with love and frustration. But whoever wins this card's only going to get the love. Okay, so then we're going to flag this. Now, that's just bugging the crap out of me. I'm going to fix that with my scissors. Whatever, right? Whatever. All right, so we're going to take that and we're going to use the People Poker. And we're going to put that, just going to poke a hole right there. And I'm going to use that little hole as my guide as to, yes. Well, there you go, Dawn. You learned something. Yay. I like when at least one person sees something that they've never seen before or that they forgot. Okay. And if Joy can do it, you can do it. See, that's what I'm all about. I'm just going to take those and put that on dimensionals. And I'm going to grab, put this away. I'm going to grab my dimensionals. Now I'm going to put this kind of in the center. Not too much of the center, but like that. And I'm just going to stab and grab those backings. See, they're right there. And then they go in the trash. They don't litter my table area. That would drive me nuts. I don't swish things onto the floor. That would drive me nuts too. I mean, I vacuum enough. Now why? Okay. Here we go. That is going to need a little bit more of adhesive back here. And we're just going to help it out a little bit. There we go. Ha! Beauteous. Okay. So then that's supposed to stay in, that's why I curled it, so that it stays within the confines of the die. And then this is just going to flag just a little bit, just like that. Okay. And then we're going to grab these faceted gems. And I am going to use the pretty. They're all pretty. But I'm going to put that one there, and then a little one right. I want to do it right there. Create a triangle that is pleasing to the eye. Okay. And I'm going to take that one and put that one over here somewhere. And that one goes, nope, up there. Stay. I talk to my jewels all the time. Or my gems. Or my circles. Or my rhinestones. Okay, put that back in the bag. Okay, so let's take a look at the card. What do you think? Oh, thank you for the heart. Oops, it actually is supposed to look like that. Okay, so there's a little bit of background with the texture. Thank you, Tina, of that. It's, let's see, it's distressed because it's not complete. In some spaces, it's lighter and darker. And so then you have that. And then you have that. So, happy birthday to someone worth celebrating every single day. How fun. And so here's my original card. So the coloring turned, pretty much the same. So I must have, went with, thank you, Dawn. I must have, kind of stuck within the same coloring of the original card. So, yay me, it worked. Okay, so if you would like a chance to win this card, thank you, Kimberly. That designer series paper is in the Spring Mini, and it is in the suite, and it's called Lovely and Beautiful. And I'll just show you. There are a wide amount of things. Now, you might say, a day to remember. This calls for a celebration. Simply the best. Wedding wishes. Holding you in my heart. Thinking of you. And to the happy couple. And to and from. So it might say, wedding. However, I have really used the stamp set in quite numerous different ways. Not wedding. Actually, I don't think I've made a wedding card. And so I love this designer series paper. So do a thumbs up or a heart. That gets you into the drawing. If you leave a comment, that gets you into the drawing. And then if you share this on your timeline, there might be a paper crafter on your timeline that hasn't touched their crafting stuff in a long time. So maybe seeing this video might say, hey, make me. And take your crafting products out and send a card and make someone's day. That's what I'm all about. So, that's the reason why I don't sign the cards to whoever wins. So if you get your name drawn and I contact you and say, hey, you won card from, say, this is 471, then I don't have your address. And so I'll say, send me your address and I'll mail you the card. I don't mail you, I don't spam you unless you want me to. And that you need to put me on your, put me on your email list, penguinz33@outlook.com. And then that way, if there's any parties, stamp camps, I should say, in Burnsville, because that's where I live, if you wish to be invited, If you join my team, you get to actually attend for free. And let's see here. If there's any, say, like delivery, free delivery, free shipping, specials, I send a note out about that. I'm also on Facebook, and I do a lot of, announcements on Facebook as well. So you can also join the Joy Borwedge Facebook page. And so if you, share this on your timeline, you get 2 entries. Number 1, you're also helping me out. And number 2, you're helping that friend out that might see this video. So guys, thank you very much for hanging out with me on a Thursday evening. I will definitely be back on Sunday after 5 o'clock. Take care. Have a great weekend.